Hello and welcome to Midweek Meditation. We are so happy that you've chosen to stop by for just a few moments as we share with you what the Lord has been sharing with us. The Lord has been sharing with us over these last few weeks, taking back your life, what that represents. And we wound the series up on this past Saturday, taking back your life. Maybe you never lost it. And we started looking at the prodigal son, the story of the prodigal son, that famous story about that young man, that father, and his other brother. We chose to look at three aspects of that particular story. The first thing we found out is that living outside of the will of God is never healthy. Living outside the will of God is never healthy. The young man wound up in the pig pen. It was never the intent of that father for that son to live in the pig pen, even though the pig pen played a part in getting him back home. Number two, we determined that the father never demoted the son, but the son demoted himself. The son said that he would come back and be a servant. The father never said that. That's the best news ever. The Lord never demotes us. He never puts us down. And that's great news. But then the last part, we found out that taking back your life in the context of the prodigal son is always comprehensive. It's comprehensive. What do you mean, preacher, by it being comprehensive? I need you to understand something, that once the son made up in his mind, I'm going back home. And once he started to go back home, it was up to the father after that. One gentleman used to tell me all the time, he used to say, Pastor, what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And so I believe that the father and the son's heart meshed, came together. The father understood that the son was repentant, and he did not deter him from coming home. As a matter of fact, the best news is that the father was running to the son. The father was running to the son, and the father did three things. He embraced his son, he restored his son, and he gave his son authority. He treated his son as though he had never left before. Oh, I want to pause and tell someone that may be listening right now, somebody that may be going through some experiences in their lives, and you feel away from God, you feel distracted from God, you feel pulled away from God. But I want to pause and tell you that God has promised in his word that he will never leave you nor forsake you. You know, I'm reminded of a story as I prepare to close of a family, Susan and Steve Burge. They had a son named Aaron. Aaron was born with a hernia, and the hernia caused him constant pain. All the time he was in pain. And so they needed someone to do surgery. Now, they knew that it would be easy to find a surgeon to take care of the hernia, but it would be difficult to find an anesthesiologist to put their son to sleep, because not only did this son have a hernia problem, but he had a birth defect. Part of the birth defect affected his brain. He had very limited brain activity. Not only that, he had a heart ailment, he had a lung problem, he had several other problems going on, and it was believed that this young man, Aaron, would not live to be beyond 3 years old. And then if he had the surgery, he may not make it through the anesthesia. And so they were struggling to find someone that would take their son and render unto him anesthesia and keep him going. But they couldn't find anyone until finally they went to a doctor who specialized in anesthetics, and they took their son there, and he was very hesitant. So the mother in her wisdom said, would you do me a favor? Would you hold my son? And he held that son. As a matter of fact, it says that he held the son for a solid hour looking at that son. Then he gave the son back to the mother, and he agreed to perform the surgery. You see, once that doctor held that son, he became more than a statistic. He became more than just a dot on a piece of paper. He became life to that doctor. And I want to pause and tell someone that that's how Jesus deals with us. We are more than a dot on a piece of paper. We are more than a statistic. Jesus sees us as one of his own. That's the best news that I can share with you. So I want to invite you, come on back home. Come on back home. Take back your life. Take back everything that the enemy has taken from you through the power of God. I pray God's richest blessings on you and yours. And remember, you have the awesome privilege and opportunity to take back your life.